China brutally punishes Christians for praying together. For those in a hurry, here's a 100-word summary of the topic. Li Gaiwen, a Lisu Christian from Yuanmo County in Yunnan Province, has been arrested and charged with organizing illegal gatherings simply for practicing her faith. Chinese authorities, under the Yuanmo Public Security Bureau, detained and transferred her to the local procuratorate for prosecution. This harsh treatment reflects China's ongoing campaign against religious minorities, especially Christians in rural and ethnic regions. The communist regime continues to crush any independent worship, branding peaceful gatherings as crimes. Li's case exposes the brutal intolerance of a government determined to silence freedom of belief and spiritual expression. Now the complete version of the topic. Li Gaiwen's ordeal, a Christian arrested for faith in Yunnan Province. China's campaign against the Christian religion has once again revealed its cruel face. This time, it is Li Gaiwen, a devoted Lisu Christian from Yuanmo County, within the Chuxinyi Autonomous Prefecture of Yunnan Province, who has become the latest victim of Beijing's unrelenting crackdown on faith. According to reports, the Yuanmo Public Security Bureau has not only criminally detained Li but also formally arrested and transferred her to the local procuratorate for review and prosecution. Her alleged crime? The absurd charge of organizing illegal gatherings. A faithful woman turned criminal by the state. Li Gaiwen's only offense was practicing her Christian faith in peace, meeting with other believers to pray and worship. In any democratic nation, such gatherings would be celebrated as expressions of faith and community. In communist China, however, they are treated as threats to state control. Authorities accuse Li of organizing illegal religious activities, a phrase routinely used by the Chinese Communist Party, CCP, to crush house churches and independent Christian fellowships that refuse to submit to the state-controlled self-patriotic movement. But the truth is clear, Li did not organize any rebellion, violence, or political unrest. She simply worshipped God outside the narrow boundaries of state-approved religion, a boundary drawn by a regime that fears any power higher than itself. Yunnan, a province under heavy religious surveillance. Yunnan Province, home to dozens of ethnic minorities including the Lisu, Yi, Dai, and others, has been one of the front lines of China's religious management campaign. While Beijing claims this policy ensures stability, it is nothing short of spiritual repression. Local security forces and religious affairs bureaus have been tasked with monitoring churches, installing surveillance cameras, and harassing pastors who refuse to align their sermons with Communist Party propaganda. Li Gaiwen's case reflects a broader trend, the tightening grip of the state on even the most remote Christian communities. Yuanmo County, though far from the political centers of power, is not beyond the reach of the CCP's expanding machinery of control. China's fear of independent faith. To understand why the Chinese regime fears people like Li Gaiwen, one must grasp the CCP's core ideology: atheism fused with authoritarianism. The party demands total loyalty. Religion, by contrast, teaches obedience to a higher moral authority. The very act of worshipping outside the party's control becomes an act of defiance. For the CCP, faith is not merely a personal belief, it's a political threat. This is why China maintains strict control over every religious institution. Pastors and priests must be registered with the government. Sermons are censored. Crosses are torn down. Bibles are rewritten to align with socialist values. And when believers refuse to bend as Li Gaiwen did, the full weight of the state falls upon them. The charge: organizing illegal gatherings. The phrase organizing illegal gatherings has become one of China's favorite tools to imprison people of faith. The CCP uses it not only against Christians but also against Falun Gong practitioners, Tibetan Buddhists, and Uyghur Muslims. It's a deliberately vague accusation, allowing authorities to arrest anyone who dares to meet for worship without official permission. Even a small Bible study group in a private home can be labeled an illegal gathering. In Li Gaiwen's case, reports suggest that her home church meetings were discovered through local informants and digital surveillance, a reminder that China's repression is not only physical but also technological. Once she was identified, the local Public Security Bureau swiftly detained her, and within weeks, the procuratorate began the process of formal prosecution. A quick request: if you found this podcast interesting so far, I'd appreciate it if you'd give it a like. You'd also be doing us a huge favor if you subscribe to this YouTube channel. Thank you. A pattern of brutality across China. Li Gaiwen's suffering is not an isolated case. Across China, thousands of Christians, pastors, elders, and lay believers have faced arrest under similar charges. In Anhui, Pastor Zhao Hongliang and 5 others from a 3 self-affiliated church were prosecuted for intentional destruction of property after resisting government surveillance. In Henan and Zhejiang, entire congregations have been broken up, their crosses removed, and their leaders imprisoned. In Xinjiang, Uyghur Muslims are detained en masse in re-education camps. These are not local misunderstandings, they are the systematic policies of a state determined to erase independent faith. Faith that cannot be broken. Despite the arrests, demolitions, and propaganda campaigns, faith in China continues to grow. The CCP may control churches, but it cannot control the human soul. Li Gaiwen's courage, standing firm even under threat of imprisonment, embodies a truth the regime fears most: belief cannot be destroyed by force. Sources: Bitter Winter, Reports on Christian Persecution in Yunnan and Anhui. U.S. Commission on International Religious Freedom, USCIRF, 2024 Report on China. Radio Free Asia, RFA, coverage of Christian arrests in southwest China. Human Rights Watch, China, Systematic Repression of Religion, 2023.